The more you associate happiness with curiosity, the happier you'll be when your curiosity is satisfied. Welcome to the Happy Channel. It's TRS Clips. What was the religion of the Cholas? Hindu?
At that point in time, there was no religion called a Hindu religion. There were various sects, you can say, various beliefs. Okay. So in Tamil Nadu, there were the Buddhists, the Jains, there were Vaishnavites, there were Saivites, and then there were many of these other fringe groups called this that Shakta tradition, Shakti
Tantra.
and all that. The Shakti tradition, holding Shakti as the biggest, the goddess. So there were many cults which sort of worshipped goddesses. Goddess-driven cults were there, and that tradition comes from tribal times. In Tamil Nadu, there were even in the Sangam period, in poetry and all. You see, there were a lot of goddesses, female gods, who dominated the thinking, the culture, and everything revolved around that. They were given special place. So one might say that women were revered in the Chola country, an earlier country. But then coming back to what you asked about the religion of the Cholas, they were Shaivites.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean they encouraged Buddhism also. They built monasteries for them. And they encouraged Vaishnavites. They built temples for them. So it was a kind of secular, I would say, in the sense that believe in everything and go with the crowd, go with the current thinking. So at that time, the Shaivite trend and the Vaishnavite trends were very strong in Tamil Nadu. So they went with the flow, built temples of, Shiva temple. That big temple at Tanjavur was built by Rajaraja Chola, and it was a Shaivite temple. So he gave a lot of contribution to temples in general, I would say. But you cannot bracket him as, he is this or that religion or this kind of thing. They sort of try to maintain a balance with all the...
What was his son's name again? Rajendra, who expands to Southeast Asia and basically makes the Chola Empire even richer.
Even richer, that's true. And even more broader and true.
Why did Kalinga come into the picture? Kalinga's Orissa, right?
Right.
So how did this game go to Orissa then?
Because the Kalinga Empire was also powerful. And if we Tamilians feel that our history is, the Tamilian or the South Indian history is not that well known, the Orissa people are even, they say that nothing is known about our empire, which is such a great empire. So the Kalinga Empire was really great from the time of Ashoka. But very little documentation you find on what's happened in the Orissa's history. The Kalingans had an edge over the Tamilians in terms of seafaring, sea trade.
Really?
Yes. Because they had ports, natural ports, and the climatic conditions were better there. So they could take away some of the trade of the Cholas. Okay, so they came into conflict with them and with the Southeast Asian countries. They were also trading at that time trying to dominate.
So the war was sort of over trade routes and money.
Over trade routes and control over the southeastern trade route, which was very crucial for trade with China.
And the Cholas won the war?
They won the war. That's what they say. They won the war. They won the war in general, but fine, they could not conquer Kalinga. They came back. The area remained the same. So that is again one thing of who won, who lost. When you in history, when you talk about what is real history, what happens is that history is written by the ruler, right? The king writes his own history. It says, I won the war. And he calls a few poets to his palace and says, sing about my victory. So they write poems. We read those poems and then really believe, this fellow really won, because there's no other evidence, There's no inscriptional evidence or, of course, coins. If the Chola coin had gone to some place, it has gone there to that place because either there was trade or they had conquered that place. If Cholas had built a temple somewhere, then they have gone there. They built temples in Lanka. They built temples even in Cambodia, right? So you believe that, they have gone there. But from poetry, you cannot believe, right? Because poetry is written by, like they say in the Sangam poems, the kings there are a lot of bards, poets, who come to their palace every day. And whenever there is war, before war, after war, they write a lot of poems. It is just to give encouragement. And that corpus of poems have come to us. And when you read those poems, you will think that these Tamilian kings were, unbeatable, most powerful.
Okay.
There is some chronology there also. But then the Sangam poems also tell that for every verse that a bard writes about a king, they get a golden coconut.
Huh?
Coconut made of
gold.
Gold.
Ah, nice. Okay.
So the poet sits in the assembly and sings one lovely poem, and the king takes one golden coconut and rolls it to him and says, one more. So
were there I know it's a stupid question, okay? But when I visualize the Chola Empire based on everything I've heard and learned of the show, I visualize a lot of gold as well. So were there gold mines in Tamil Nadu? Is that why there's so much gold, or it was because of the trade?
It was because of the trade.
Okay.
So much so that when the Romans bought cotton textiles and gems and all that, so they used to make jewelry also here with the gold. So gold was imported and along with wine, and the exports were all kinds of material, cloth particularly, and spices, a huge spice market, which is very valued in Rome. So much so that the Augustus Caesar started crying, saying that my treasury is empty. All gold has gone to India because these people just buy spices and they buy cloth and linen and all that. So actually there was a drain, what you call now today, you talk about a foreign exchange drain the other way, India paying for exports. Now, in that period, it was reverse. India was exporting a huge amount of goods and gold was coming in.
So we were truly the America of that period.
Truly.
Okay.
And between China and if you take the 17th, 18th centuries, China and India together, if you add their GDPs, it was something like 60% of the world's GDP. These two countries had.
I think the big geopolitical lesson from the entire Chola dynasty is an economic stronghold in your own country, as well as the constant need to expand business outside the country.
Yeah.
That's what I've gained from this whole episode.
That's right.
Honestly.
And to remain a king, to maintain your empire, you have to be at war. You have to keep on expanding, otherwise you're gone, finished.
Yeah. Or at least be very rich.
Yes, you have to be very rich, but not that kind of decadent rich. Because that is what the Indians became when the British came, decadent rich.
As in we got spoiled, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We weren't tough anymore.
We weren't tough. And sort of lazy life, you earned enough. Who is that to conquer us? We have so much money. Who is that guy who has better arms than us? You start believing in that kind of thing. Not only that, what is important is that when the kings fight with each other and there's a decadent rule, people are up in arms against them. They are not happy. So when somebody comes, even they sort of, they don't care. Somebody rules, people are, not at all passionate about, this something we have to defend this. And the kings keep fighting. And what the people want is that that hatred against that particular rule is what, at that point in time, that becomes the most important thing. And so that is very important for a king to maintain law and order and rule.
So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this playlist for more videos just like this. It's TRS Clips.